78. This weather is brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Thank you for keeping that dial at ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Hewitt Tire and Auto.
Call 850-769-7323.
Your certified AAA service center and hometown towing.
Visit them online at HewittTire.com.
On Airport Road in Panama City.
850-769-7323. Hewitt Tire and Auto Center and Hometown Towing.
Need a tow? Call Billy at Hometown Towing, 850-265-1562.
Beach Pizza, formerly Marcy's Pizza, is back with more hours and more pizza. Beach Pizza has new owners and now open every day, 11 to 11. Pizza by the slice, whole pies, wings, pretzels, garlic knots, and more choice eats in East PCB. I finally tried a slice, and it was a thin crust, totes, cheesy slice of paradise. 8815 B Thomas Drive, online at beachpizzapcb.com. Call ahead, 850-775-4053.
MLB is incoming, and you won't miss a game. Introducing Scorpion TV. Over 5,000 live streaming channels. Catch every game of the season with over 100 sports networks, including ESPN, ESPN Plus, the NFL Network, and Red Zone. Even pay-per-view events. Watch 400 local network channels from Panama City and most major markets. Fox, ABC, CBS, and NBC. Just $45 a month with our promo code ESPNNW. Go to ESPNPC.com and click the Scorpion TV logo.
Would you sell your business if the price was right? Ready for a change? Want more time for family or just not enjoying it anymore? First Choice Business Brokers of Northwest Florida can help. Connect your business with serious buyers locally, nationally, and internationally while keeping the process confidential. Get a free, no-obligation business evaluation today. Call Natalie Kessler, broker, First Choice Business Brokers of Northwest Florida at 850-588-1025. First Choice Business Brokers of Northwest Florida is an independent franchise.
Just excellent WPL2 Port St. Joe. Powered by Panama City Toyota. ESPN Northwest Florida. Get ready. The Afternoon Underdogs are on the air.
Live and local.
Weekdays from 4 till 6.
This thing is going to be a financial and cultural disaster.
The Afternoon Underdogs.
Whopper, 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 Whopper.
The Afternoon Underdogs are on the air. ESPN Northwest Florida.
Keep making noise! Keep making noise! Yeah!
Hey, what's going on? Holy hot dogs! It's a beautiful Wednesday afternoon here. I'm David Hayes, along with the reason that we're all here, Fano, also known as Adam Goff. And then we have the host of the Inside Drive as of today and Friday goes, James Fife. We're the Afternoon Underdogs, and this is ESPN Northwest Florida. You have an opportunity to listen to our grand man over there, James Fife, this afternoon?
I did not. I was busy working today, so unfortunately wasn't able to tune in. I'm sure he did an amazing job.
As always, man, he really did a jam-up job. James, how was it for you, man? What was your favorite part?
I just like hosting is good for me because I like the conversation, kind of like having a control of the conversation so I can hear the topics I kind of want to hear.
Right. That's part of the...
That's part of the gig of doing a radio show,
right,
you know?
Right.
And it's, I haven't hosted a show since 2019, so it's nice sitting back, kind of in the pilot seat.
That's 6 years.
Yeah.
I can do math.
Yeah.
I just learned today. I was like, if I use my fingers to count, I can come up with the correct calculations.
Yeah.
Pretty impressive stuff, I think,
Just got to make sure you got the right number of fingers and toes.
Big Fred on YouTube says,
Fred.
Tell Dave he's got a little crap on his shirt for me, like right on the chest above the number.
Hey, but
he's a Knicks
let's
fan.
Recognize this, though. He's a what?
Knicks fan.
Oh, yeah.
So you're wearing the actual
that hurts him
Knicks
8 times
color.
in 9 seconds or so, right? Like somewhere around
8 times in 9 seconds. Is that right, Fred?
Oh, Fred, man, thank you so much. I really do appreciate when AG comes on, which AG, huge part of the show. Also, Bite Me Cookies. We'll tell you more about that, but you need to be biting in to Bite Me Cookies and treats. But when you come in on Wednesdays, like the other viewers that you bring in on the world of YouTube, I love it, man. Jimmy, like me and Jimmy, Do we talk all the time? No, but there was one time where we had to text so he could like get my address so he could send me a hat from a hat bet. And, you know, it's like Jimmy's a great guy. He's a White Sox fan. You know he's down. You know he's a little bit depressed, but he doesn't act like it. And it's like, I love that about you, Jimmy. I absolutely love it about you.
Speaking
And
of the devil, Jimmy just popped in.
he's like, oh, this guy. He's like, this guy really doesn't even know me like that. He's gonna go talk trash. Yeah, it's one of those days, Jimmy. You're an LSU fan, White Sox fan. Like,
Bills
you know
fan.
what? Can I tell you this, Jimmy? Your White Sox are better than the Braves right now.
This is true.
Guess what?
Facts.
If you were to do a power rankings of our Atlanta Braves right now, there would be 30 of 30. And it is, it hurts. It really,
0-6.
What's that?
0-6.
0-6. And the amount of runs scored, like we've almost scored as many runs. It's higher than this, but it's like we've almost scored the amount of runs of games that we've played this year. Like, let's pick it up, boys. Have I hit the panic mode yet? No.
I think I don't think a large part of it, but there is a part of the problem is that not only are you out on the West Coast, which is arguably tougher for the East Coast teams to start the season, but you're also facing the Padres and the Dodgers.
Like you're taking on the epitome of the West, or the best
NL.
teams of the. I mean, of
the NL. I mean,
American League. What huge? Like, wouldn't you put the Dodgers and the Padres above the Astros? Like, if we're going, and the Rangers, Rangers got to be up there, right?
The Rangers are up there too, but I'm talking as far as like the NL goes. I mean, you're looking at the Phillies, the Mets, and then the Padres and and
Dodgers.
the Dodgers.
Yeah, but the Dodgers are at the top of the list.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So, like you're taking on two of the, if not the
powerhouses,
the two best teams in the NL right now.
Now, I don't know how much the Braves have helped inflate their record, but both of those teams just so happen to be undefeated to this point. What's that, James?
Undefeated.
Oh, my goodness gracious. 850-215-6290. As always, we love taking your calls and texts, and the Atlanta Braves will be right here on ESPN Northwest Florida, so you could possibly listen to the first win of the season for the Braves as they take on the Dodgers tonight. I believe coverage starts, I think we said 6:20, right?
6:20 pregame.
7:38
first pitch.
The Schwellenbach tonight? Do we know?
It's only a look away. It's only a look away, and James is looking it up right now. I will be honest with you. I'm not like, oh, what's the Braves lineup looking like? Right now is like, y'all better hit the ball or like go somewhere else. James, what you got?
Bryce Elder, Blake Snell.
Oh, I knew that it was
It just
Elder
gets
going.
better. You go with Elder, and then you go, oh, here's Blake Snell coming in after May.
Oh, my goodness gracious.
Good luck,
And that's the
everybody.
guy who I've got winning the Cy Young this year after we did our predictions last week. It just, it's a tough situation. But the beautiful thing about if you're sitting there looking at your NFL team and you're like, oh, we're 0-4. Yes, the season has ended for you at 0-4.
Essentially.
Essentially. Unless you're, Joe Burrow and the Bengals and you get sacked 9 times and find a way to get up the 10th time, as we talked about earlier on the Inside Drive, James Fife and I. But yeah, and football is over. But with baseball, we're 162 games.
It's April, right?
But you were also the first person to put me on the suspension. You were talking about the suspension yesterday. Jurickson Profar suspended for HCG, which is essentially placenta. A placenta supplement, right? And I would love to hear the backstory on that. Like, from him. I think that's one of those
He said he
ones.
wasn't aware that he was doing anything illegal. That's what, of course, they all say.
That's what
They all say that. I've never heard anyone say,
But
you know what, I messed up here.
I mean,
What
Tatis
I'm
is the only one who was like, I had ringworm.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, like, at least he had something original.
And the Padres still ended up paying him through his suspension, I believe, on that one.
I'm not 100%.
I think the Padres did because it was partly their error as well for giving him the medication.
And that could be. Yeah.
Right. Well, but and here we are talking about former Padres and Jurickson Profar. And
to me, I look at Profar and I go, there's a reason he had the season he did at age 30.
That's what people were saying.
And now he's moved on, and lo and behold, there's a suspension coming.
I asked it yesterday, and I'll keep asking it till I get an answer. When was this drug test administered, before or after he signed the Braves contract?
Right. Because if it's before, then and the Braves knew about it or whatever, or then it's on the Braves. But if it's after, then do the Braves have any kind of recourse at all to say we're going to avoid that contract if they so choose to?
Yeah, that's my thought is if it was a, like, I took a drug test, but I didn't tell you guys that I took a drug test that I might fail.
Right.
Does that go back on him because it happened before or after? I just don't know when that test was administered.
Yeah, well, I mean, the Braves did go and get Stuart Fairchild from my Reds, so...
Woo! Cash considerations, baby!
Right, how's your platoon right-handed batter? Yeah.
I mean, well, you do have Verdugo and you do have Jared Kelenic, and Kelenic is going to have to step up. He has hit a home run.
De La Cruz
he's
has
responsible.
Step up.
Yeah, Brian De La Cruz, yeah. Jared Kelenic's got one of the Braves' 12 runs this year, or whatever we calculated earlier. I think it was around 12 runs, right?
There's Braves have 9 runs on the season.
Or 4-3-1-1. So it's either 9 or 12 runs, somewhere around there.
They got 9.
9.
Yeah, it's brutal, man.
Sad. It's like I'm crying right now. Y'all save me some tissues here.
It's pretty bad for the Braves right now, especially with the division looking as strong as it is, with the Marlins, who 3 straight walk off wins versus the Pirates, and then you've got the Phillies and their successes, and then the Mets are looking like they're not slowing down. The Nationals, for if they can get more out of Mackenzie Gore like they got last week. I know he pitched today versus the Blue Jays, but it's a rough start to the season. Normally it's the Reds that I'm talking about having this kind of rough start. And we're not having a great start.
How about Ellie? What was it? Was it last night or was it 2 nights prior to that? We didn't even talk about this on the
2 nights prior to that.
It was 2 nights. That's why we didn't talk about it, because like Ellie was a triple away from getting the cycle. And what's he do? Jacks one out of the park, 436 feet. Mm-hmm. The guy's special. And if you haven't caught on to that yet, he is what O'Neal Cruz was kind of advertised to be, and has more closely lived up to the hype, more so than O'Neal has injuries. But injuries will detour a career every single time. 10 out of 10 times, if you're dealing with injuries, your career is not going to live up to the expectations.
Yeah, to be fair to O'Neal Cruz, I mean, he was sliding into home on that injury that he broke his leg on, and then it took him a little bit. His second half of the season last year, he really kind of came on strong. They've been, playing him in the outfield as opposed to shortstop, I guess, to try to... similar to Tatis, try to mitigate any particular, injuries.
A little bit easier on the body too, because you don't have to make as many plays.
Right. So he's O'Neal Cruz is a really, really talented young player. I think he's 26 now, so he's not Ellie young, but he's still relatively young. But O'Neal Cruz is a great player. But Ellie is special, man. And one of our headlines here is Christian Campbell for the Red Sox, who's played all of, I think, 6 games. He gets the bag, right? He gets another 8
that
years
a bag?
back.
I mean,
it
is a bag, comparatively speaking. But with what he's been advertised to be, right? Like, if he holds out a year, do you think he's getting 8 years for $60 million, or is he getting, maybe closer to that 8 years for $120 million?
Well, if you look at the way things are trending right now with some of these young prospects, these teams that are smart are doing what the Red Sox are doing, what the Brewers did with Churio, right? 8 years, $80 million, locking these kids up for their, young to going into their formidable years, right? I look back at it as a Reds fan, and I go, well, like Jackson Merrill today signs a 9-year, $135 million extension with the Padres. He's a stud.
He's
an
a five-tooler.
stud.
Yeah, exactly.
And so I look at it.
I hate him.
I look at it from the Reds standpoint, and I go, here we have not only Ellie De La Cruz, but we have Matt McClain. Why are we not trying to get these deals done? Ellie is different, I think, because Scott Boras is his agent, and so I think that plays a large part of it.
So he won't be a Brave.
More than likely not, no.
Right.
But
Dodgers,
Matt McClain,
him another one
Matt
soon.
McClain left Scott Boras' agency. Like, why are you not giving this kind of deal to Matt McClain? Right? It was because he missed all of last year. Well, guess what? Players miss all the time.
Yeah.
But you look at what Christian Campbell is getting. You look at what Jackson Merrill is getting, and you look at what Jackson Churio is getting. And if you don't put Matt McClain and Ellie De La Cruz in that same tier right now as a Reds front office person,
you would
you're
put
crazy.
both of them in the same? Like, as far as locking them up for the future, because obviously they're not the same player, but McClain still, I mean, he has the talent. There's no doubt about that. But, I mean, Ellie just seems to be a special player.
Ellie
like
has that
a
swag,
superstar.
I think, that separates him from everybody else, right? I mean, the young man's gone out and he's learning English to where it's not just his second language, but it's his first language, and he's doing really, really well with it. You can see as he does more and more interviews, he's getting more and more comfortable with it. He knows that, the face of the league kind of thing is right there on the precipice of his career. And I mean, he was on the cover of the show this year for MLB The Show.
Right.
So
along with others, some superstars in the making.
Right. So while I don't expect the Reds to go out and hand over 9 years, $135 million for Ellie, I don't think that gets the job done. But I at least want some form of a news release saying that the Reds have offered X amount of years for X amount of dollars, and Ellie just said no. Right? Like, give me something here. But right now, as a Reds fan, you sit back and you see all these young, budding superstars getting the bag, and here we have these two guys. And it's similar to, like, what the Bengals did. Maybe it's a Cincinnati thing.
Let's stop the buck right there, because that's what it is. It's a Cincinnati thing. They eat too much Skyline chili, bro.
I don't know what it is. But the thing is you look back and at the Jamar Chase and T. Higgins thing, and you go, if you had done this a year ago, you probably saved yourself $50 to $100 million. Easy. Now you waited a longer time, and now you're paying even more for them. Should the deal have been done? Absolutely. But why are you sitting on your hands? And maybe they're not sitting on their hands. I don't know. Maybe the Reds front office
sitting on their thumbs.
Well, whatever. But maybe they're not just sitting there and waiting on the cake to bake before they go and make an offer. Maybe they're throwing offers at them every day. I don't know. But that's the frustrating part as a Reds fan is, why is this not out there? Why is there not pressure on Ellie or McClain or both of them and their agents to say, the Reds are trying to get this done. We need you all to come to the table. You know what I mean? Put the pressure on them to get that done.
The Castellinis, though, have always been kind of silent on everything. They never really released any information at all.
Well, and the problem is it's not just the Castellinis.
It's kind of in on itself.
There's a group that's involved with it too of owners, and so it's not like the Castellinis are the primary owners, like as far as percentage goes, but there's a whole group of them that's involved with it as well. And that's the frustrating part is you sit back and you watch all of these young superstars getting their deals and locking these guys up for long term. And here the Reds have two superstars essentially that we just know here in 4 to 5 years are not going to be Cincinnati Reds because they're just not going to get it done.
I mean, the only guy that really the Reds have ever kept around in the past 20 years, Joey Votto.
Yeah.
I mean, every other guy that they've had has always just been, they've always looked at everybody else as like a trade piece.
Yep.
Like every single other player they've brought in, we can trade this guy for something. We can trade this guy for something. Then I don't think they ever look at, we can trade this guy and build something. They just look at it, we can trade this guy and get something.
But see, then that's the frustrating part, though, as a Reds fan, is like, it's been 29 years since we won a playoff series.
Yep.
29 years.
Yep.
So
I was 5 years
something
old.
has to change, right? Like, you have to change your outlook on things.
I mean,
and the way you do things.
Other than the COVID year, when was the last time the Reds had a playoff? Just an appearance.
I honestly, I'm trying to think.
15?
Yeah, so that's been 10 years.
Yeah. It's bad, dude. It's bad. And then you have...
I don't feel so bad about being 0-6 right now.
No, you have a World Series like 3 years ago, dude. Shut up.
Adam Goff the Great here, and we're going to have 4 questions for Fano when we get to the top of hour number 2. No Banji today. Banji's got a meeting going on, so we will not have our good friend Banji Bomandela, who is the sports reporter for the Panama City News Herald. But we are taking your calls and texts 850-215-6290. Also, we're presenting the race to Talladega. You can win 2 passes to the Jack Links 500. That'll be Sunday, April 27th. You you can enjoy the race by listening to the Coach Hale Show mornings at 7:15 and 8:15 for the code word of the day. When you hear it, text the code word and your racing name to 850-215-6290. Then listen in at 1240 on the Inside Drive and 540 with the Afternoon Underdogs. If we announce your name, race to the phones to call 850-215-6290. How long it takes you to call back is your qualifying time. The 2 fastest qualifying times win the race to Talladega and 2 tickets to the Jack Links 500 on April 27th. And also, you get tickets to the ARCA Menard Series General Tire 200 and the Xfinity Series AG Pro. The AG Pro.
Yeah, that's my race.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. 300, that's going to be a doubleheader on Saturday. Contesting is going to run April 7th through the 18th, so that'll be next Monday. Make sure that you are tuned in to the Coach James Hale Show, the Inside Drive, and the Afternoon Underdogs. All qualifiers instantly win cool station stash from Pepsi, Tommy's Express, and ESPN Northwest Florida. The race to Talladega is sponsored by PCB Hobby, Panama City Toyota, Buffalo Rock, Hampton Inn on Thomas Drive, and by Home 2 Suites.
Need a breath there? That's a lot.
All right, now we're back to it. Hey, we actually, no, I don't want to go that direction because I have a question set up for you at 5 o'clock for the 4 questions with Fano. But I was able to watch a little bit. This is the first visual that I've got on the Rays playing over there in Steinbrenner. Mm-hmm. You were there not too long ago. But how about Paul Skeens? Like, it seems like the Pirates right now, every 5 games or so is when they're going to get a win. Did they win his first start?
No, he got a no decision. I don't know.
Okay, all right. So they're 1-4. They got their second win today by beating the Rays 4-2. I believe
could have been. Yeah, they might have ended
up coming back
for
sure.
I
watched. The kid's fun to watch, man.
He's amazing.
Yeah.
He is. He's absolutely amazing. And pitching in that ballpark is going to be really, really tough. It's okay right now because it's still not as humid or as hot. I mean, it's warm, but dog days of summer, pitching in that stadium, it's going to be brutal, man. Absolutely brutal. It's going to get hot. It's going to get sticky. Especially if there's a day game over there, and whichever team, and I'm not sure which one it is. I want to say it's the away team is on the third base side. They are going to get absolutely cooked in that dugout.
Sunshine.
And we are in Florida.
They're going to get a beautiful ballpark, but wow, like it's going to be absolutely.
I really
unreal.
can't even imagine. Go ahead, James.
So they got AC in those dugouts. Like a lot of Major League dugouts now have like an air conditioning unit. You know, those curtains.
Like a window unit or something.
Yeah, it's like a curtain that goes all the way across the front. It blows straight down.
Okay.
And then like other units just keep it cool in there.
I would imagine they do, but at the same time, if you're the Yankees or, you know, the Yankees minor league team that plays there, you know, prior to the Rays taking over, would you want your opponent having that kind of thing? Or is it one of those, if one has it, the other has to have it? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
I think that's
I don't know on that because it's like a new
both
stadium.
should have it.
You're right.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, I don't know because in Major League ballparks, you have to have the same amenities for each team.
Right, yeah.
But that's not a Major League ballpark, so I don't know.
Well, it is now.
Well, it is. Yeah, well, now.
For
at least
for
this
the time
season.
being. For the time being.
Yeah.
And also with the Sacramento A's or the A's playing
Los
in
Oaklamento A's.
There you go.
Los Oaklamento.
That's beautiful. They don't even have bathrooms attached to their dugout. So I guess they have to go somewhere else. Chef Ross said that. I don't know that from like listening to a
So they went from the terrible Oakland Coliseum where the bathrooms had sewage coming up to like, you know what? We don't have sewage, but we don't have anything.
And
we got a corner and a bucket.
I mean, come on now. You know, like you can do 1 and 2s inside of 5-gallon buckets.
How do they not have restrooms attached to the dugout? That doesn't make
That's
sense.
crazy to me. Like even the minor league baseball team I worked for in Bowling Green, you know, single A affiliate for the Rays.
Right.
They had bathrooms. They had one at each end for the guys in the dugout.
Well, I mean, they do
anywhere.
make mistakes when they're building stadiums, right?
Oh, they made a lot of mistakes
Like
building that one.
AT&T Park, I guess it's Pac Bell now out in San Francisco.
Oh, golly. Candlestick.
They didn't build bullpens.
They did the same thing at the minor league ballpark I worked for.
Yeah,
they didn't build bullpens.
Yeah.
They didn't build a clubhouse.
Yeah.
They had to build the clubhouse out behind center field because they forgot to put one in the stadium.
Do you think that PETA had anything to do with that?
Probably not. It was in Kentucky, man.
Yeah,
they had no influence.
Kind of a joke. Do y'all remember like a few years back? It was while Old School was still doing the show. PETA was trying to get Major League Baseball to change the name of the bullpen. I forget what it was that they wanted to call it, but they were like, just don't call it the bullpen. It's like, dude, come on, man. We're going to call this the slaughterhouse then. How about that?
Right, yeah.
Because I love PETA, because I am one. I'm a people eating tasty animals. And I tell you what, I do love some chicken. I love some beef. I love anything that brings you nutrition and
You're
protein.
a carnivore.
Right?
I get it. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. I guess more or less a herbivore, right?
No, omnivore.
Herbivore is just vegetables. Mm-hmm. Yeah, omnivore is, I eat everything. And you know what I've been eating a lot of lately?
Squirrel?
Grapes.
Wait, what did you say? Love grapes. Cotton candy grapes to the moon.
Yeah. Yes. And yes, yeah. I've had squirrel a couple of times. We would shoot them with a BB gun, clean them real quick, and I mean, you don't get a lot of meat from them.
Not really.
The one thing that, because, my papa, he grew up in Alabama. All right, so he's eaten a lot of different things. So I've never had possum before.
Really stringy, really greasy.
It's okay. So this guy's like Red Dead Redemption over here. Like, got some stringy meat. All right. Bro, is James not a great collection to add to the Afternoon Underdogs?
100%. Yeah.
This guy, I'm not blowing smoke, bro. Like, you are a great addition.
He's a wealth of knowledge.
Show. A wealth of knowledge.
I have so much knowledge and all of it useless.
Right?
No, that's not even true, because you got a master's degree. You guys are riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. This actually, both of y'all went to the same school, Western Kentucky.
Yeah, we both went to WKU.
WKU, and let's go Hilltoppers. We're going to get over the top of that hill when we get back. You're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. This is ESPN Northwest Florida. Keep it locked in, and how about you give us a call, dadgummit?
Keep the game going with ESPN Northwest Florida. Just because you get out of the car doesn't mean the sports talk and line play-by-play have to end. Just say, hey, Alexa, open ESPN Northwest Florida. From Michigan Avenue to the man cave, from the car to the kitchen, we've got you covered. Keep the game going. Hey, Alexa, open ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good afternoon. This is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with your forecast on this Wednesday. A mixture of mostly sunshine and slight fog the rest of the day, with a moderate breeze at 17 miles per hour coming out of the south-southeast, and look for it to be 78. Tonight, there will be slight fog with the temperature reaching 69. Slightly foggy in the morning and then some sun tomorrow with a high of 78. This weather is brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Thank you for keeping that dial at ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Bestway Portable Buildings recognizes the optimism in the air, and a golden age has begun for all to share. Bestway has been constructing durable, custom-made portable buildings in just about any size since 1989. They know what they're doing. Of course, you're not obligated in any way to buy from Bestway Portable Buildings. However, owner Jason Mulder asks that you please give them a try before you buy. Bestway Portable Buildings, a golden age builder north of the Old Mall on Highway 231 and online at bestwayportablebuildings.com.
Introducing Southern Breeze Primary Care. With 45 years of experience, owners Holly Gay and Lisa King bring warm, friendly care, Southern charm, and a family vibe. They are the pros in youth sports, physicals, general health care, BioT hormone replacement therapy, certified DOT exams, and Coast Guard physicals. Southern Breeze, 107 West 19th Street, Suite B, 850-248-8002. Walk-ins are welcome and insurance is accepted but not required. Southern Breeze offers breezy solutions for your healthcare needs.
Low post Brooms to the hole, Dubson, right down the heart. Miles bounce pass behind the back. Broom free. Yes! Oh, yes! Yes! Oh, my goodness. This one's over. Remember Auburn. We're going to the Alamo. We're going to San Antonio. This is Andy Burcham, voice of the Tigers. Tune in Saturday at 4:30 for Auburn basketball in the Final Four.
ESPN Northwest Florida, War Eagle.
You think you've been on your grind? The 11-year-old cashier at the Gin Gin puts in more hours than you.
Do any of you people do any actual work?
Just saying.
We might need to work on your sales pitch.
Less work and more play.
All right, show's over. Everybody back to work.
Now back to the Afternoon Underdogs, ESPN Northwest Florida.
Yeah, Yeah, we got the OG Maine right there being played by James Fife. I'm starting to learn some of the names, man. It's kind of nice. You know, we're in opposite seats as we were this afternoon on the Inside Drive. James was hosting, doing a phenomenal job there. He'll also be hosting the Inside Drive come Friday. And so if you have any guests that you would like to get on the show, how about you send us their contact information over there to 850-215-6290. I've actually
be happy to have you on the air.
I've been in contact with the University of West Florida softball coach. Okay. I saw her as add a friend on Facebook. It said, like, University of West Florida head coach, and I'm like, well, what sport?
Did you send her a message like, I'm not creeping, but here's who I work for?
No, I don't say I'm not creeping, but like it's actually we'll just read it verbatim. Let's see. I said, "What do you coach at West Florida?" I'm a sports radio host in Panama City, Florida, for ESPN Northwest Florida.
There you go.
She said, "I coach softball." I said, "Would you be interested in coming on with us sometime soon for 10 to 15 minutes?" Back in the day, I say that like it's a long time ago, but how I got like a majority of the guests that we've had on ESPN Northwest Florida for the afternoon show was by Twitter, because it didn't block you from messaging high profile people. Now it does. And so Von Kirsch's brought up a good point. I think you've said it before as well. Like, Boss Man should be paying for my Twitter account so that I can message all these people.
Yeah.
And we
get that blue check. Once you get your blue check.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. I'm not paying for that, though. I'm not paying for
I'm saying he should get your blue check.
Right. He should. I'm not going to pay monthly for a social media site. You
know
what I mean?
Just write it off on your taxes, Dave. Pay for it and write it off on your taxes.
Still don't want to give him the money.
I got a pretty good CPA.
There you go.
Good old Danny. I mean, not that he's actually mine or whatever, but he does help. He does help me, and that is very beneficial. You guys are riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. This is ESPN Northwest Florida, 104.3 Panama City, 101.9 in Port St. Joe. David Hayes, Adam Goff, and the great James Fife with us this afternoon. And we would take your calls at 850-215-6290. What do you think about Melo headed to the Hall of Fame? Looks like he's going to be introduced into the NBA Hall of Fame. He's got to be worthy of it, right?
Well, there's not an NBA Hall of Fame. It's a
basketball Hall of Fame. Yeah, that's
so.
Right.
I mean,
that difference.
He played 1 year at Syracuse. They won the national title. He was the best player in the country. Third overall pick, I think, in the same draft as LeBron. I think he goes number one if it's not for LeBron. Of course, Darko Milicic was in there too, which is really weird. Way to go, Pistons. But Melo had a great career, man. I mean, I don't think he got enough credit for some of the things that he did. I feel like in today's age of, players chasing championships, whether it's LeBron or KD or whomever you want to throw out there, he stuck with the Knicks for quite a long time when he probably could have said, you know what, I'm out. I'm going to go chase championships elsewhere. But great career. I mean, I like going back and watching old reels on like Facebook and stuff, and you go down black holes, right?
Oh,
and of course, when you watch one reel, then it starts feeding you others. And one of them was Kobe Bryant, and they were interviewing Kobe about some of his toughest matchups, and he brings up Carmelo Anthony as one of his tougher matchups. Obviously, there's a size disparity there, but when Kobe Bryant, of all people, brings your name up and as far as like a top five in terms of, having to face off and they were a pain in your rear end. Like, I think that speaks volumes. So I think if there's anybody that, is worthy of a Hall of Fame nod in basketball, absolutely Carmelo should be there.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when he was at Syracuse, it was one of the final years that I was living down there in St. Pete, and for them to have that run that they had together was absolutely phenomenal. And then, what he was able to do over there at the Nuggets before going over to the New York Knicks, he was fun. He had a smooth shot, and I think obviously everyone would have loved to see him win a NBA championship.
Especially Knicks fans.
Yeah, especially Knicks fans. But it's just like watching Chris Paul. It's like watching... Do we put KD in that category since his only one is like really had nothing to do with it?
KD's a freak, man.
I loved KD at Texas, man.
I think KD obviously has hurt his legacy,
his stock.
Because of him running around and chasing and then making poor choices on top of it with Brooklyn and Phoenix. But KD is an absolute freak athletically. He's a stud, great shooter. He's one of the best players that I've ever witnessed, personally. So Fred says, as a Knicks fan, he says, yes, Melo deserves it. His college stint is included in his inclusion. He said, and he was the backbone of the Knicks through a rough period, and we love him.
Backbone of the Nuggets and the Knicks.
Yeah.
He was the backbone of both of those teams. Again, one of the smoothest shots in the game. And had he had more help, they brought in Allen Iverson in his later years of the Nuggets. That doesn't count.
Right.
You know what I mean? That was past the prime of Allen Iverson. You would have loved to see him get it done with the Knicks. I mean, golly, I think
the Knicks need a world championship, man. I mean,
they're almost like getting to the point. Well,
the NBA needs
more so.
New York.
That's what I mean. It's just like any sport, really. Jets are a laughing stock, but when they do well, it's good. It's good for the sport, right? Eli Manning with his 2 Super Bowls with the Giants. That was good for the sport. As much as I hate it, the Yankees, come on now, when the Yankees are playing good baseball, baseball's in a better spot. We are going to get to the torpedo bats. Get your thoughts on the torpedo bats at 5 o'clock. So definitely be talking more about that. But yes, really, New York, anything related. And I would say the same thing about the other states in Florida and California. When those teams are doing well, I think baseball, football, basketball, whatever it is, I think that those big states, just like the daggone popular vote in politics, like for the presidential
how crazy
election.
is it that hockey really needs the state of Florida right now?
I mean, come on.
Oh, and it does really
best.
well.
That's what I'm saying.
Hockey actually, I think, is doing better than professional baseball in the state of Florida. I mean,
as far as winning championships or viewership?
Championships and putting butts in seats.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It is. Is that not wild that hockey is putting more now? Well, right now, Amalie Arena and wherever the Panthers play down there in Sunshine, Florida, both of them, their capacity is larger than what the Rays' capacity is. I think for Steinbrenner Field, it's like 12,000, 11,000, somewhere around that area, which they only average like 12 to 13,000 people in the Trop anyway. So there's also that aspect of it. I don't know, man. Maybe the secret to the sauce for Florida teams is going to be smaller stadiums, right?
You would think so. I mean, they built that monolith out there in Miami for the Marlins, and
it looks great.
It looks phenomenal. It's
nobody
beautiful,
goes
but nobody ever sits there, right? But if you remember, though, like when they were playing at
Pro Player,
Pro Player, like they had most of the upper deck just like tarped off. Like
it was like the Coliseum in Oakland.
Right,
it was just all shut up top because you're not going to sell that many tickets, especially to. I mean, think about it, man. July. Day game, Miami, top deck. Who wants to sit in that sun?
Agreed. But,
all right. Well,
but Melo should be in. Yeah, that's all I got. Melo should be in.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just a player of his generation that will always stand out. And again, I'll say it over and over, but one of the smoothest shooters of all time. So Melo will be elected into the NBA or to the Basketball Hall of Fame, not the NBA Hall of Fame. How do we go about this next story? Since we only have 5 minutes here, do y'all remember there was a day, I believe it was a Wednesday, it was 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks ago. I'm just keeping my basis right there, making sure that I think I'm in the right timeline. The Ole Miss where you had the father and the son, and they're suing Pat McAfee for bringing that up, for sharing the story on his show. Is that can you sue Twitter for people sharing the stuff on there? Like, and why should radio hosts, like, if I bring up something that I feel is pertinent to the people, funny, whatever it may be, but if I feel like it's pertinent to the people, is it the most, like, you need to know this? Absolutely not. But when you're talking sports stuff, and I don't do the greatest job of this, but bringing up what's going on in the culture or whatever, I don't know how you can sue someone for that. So help me understand this if you guys understand.
Well, I think it's, if you look at the the reach that somebody like Pat McAfee has,
which the
plays a large
Underdogs
role in
yeah.
it, right? I mean, like, you know, obviously they're not going after Morgan Hilliard for her burnerverse takes on it, right? But Pat McAfee has a big name. He's got a big contract behind him in a huge company that, you know, that he works
huge
for.
Companies behind him,
right?
like WWE
that he works
ESPN.
for, and so it's easy pickings, right? It's who can we go after for damages? Because you're right, you're not going to go after mom and pop little places because you're not going to do anything, but you can get your, you know, your settlements or your comeuppance if that's what you're wanting from somebody like a Pat McAfee, like an ESPN. Now, do I think that Pat McAfee was irresponsible in reporting on this story? No, because that's his shtick, right? I mean, that's who he is. That's how he came to be as successful as he is covering, you know, nonsense like this story, which whether it's nonsense
it was
or
nonsense.
not.
It was,
right.
I mean, come on.
So, but at the same time, like that's what his audience is.
Right.
And
does a great job catering to his audience as well. That's one of my favorite sports shows out there right now is the Pat McAfee Show, just because it's all the way from informative to comedic, and I like to laugh. I think we do a good job of that on the Afternoon Underdogs, depending on the particular situation. And but yeah, I don't think that is right for someone just because they have the reach that you mentioned. I don't think that is right for someone to sue someone just because Twitter did you dirty enough.
But here's the thing, right? Like, so obviously, I don't think this goes to court. I think there's a settlement out of it. This girl and her family, what rightly so or wrongly so, I don't know.
Is it the
They're
father
probably
or is
going
it
to
the
end
daughter
up getting
that's,
stuff out of it. So they're going to end up getting some kind of money out of it. So it is what it is at this point. You know, do I feel bad that this young girl's name was trudged through the mud for, you know, a fake story?
We all have choices.
Absolutely.
Wait, this story was fake?
Allegedly, right? I mean,
I don't know if it was. So, they can say
they
that.
call it a rumor, so it might or might not be real.
Yeah,
right.
I guess.
So again,
Randy, lawsuits
it's
in the
not going to
mailbox.
go to court. It's not going to go to court. This case against McAfee and ESPN, they'll settle. She'll get her bag. They'll move on. Everybody will forget about it. So. Is what it is at this point.
It absolutely is what it is. And of course, we're going to have our very own Burnerverse, Morgan Hilliard, in the building with us. And so maybe she can provide us with some updates.
And she works for a law firm. So
yeah. Well, I saw one of their billboards today. I think I was on 23rd Street. What was it? Something about like standing up to the insurance company or whatever. Perry and Young. But yeah, Morgan Hilliard will be with us 5 o'clock. But 5 o'clock is Fano's time, where we've got 4 questions for Fano. Then 5:20, we'll dive into Mo's Notes from the Burnerverse, and we'll talk a little bit more about college baseball, because her college baseball team,
drama.
I mean, not just the drama, but like 1-8 in SEC play. Last I looked. You know, and they were the number 1 team, and it's just not worked out well for them. And, you know, then they also have to deal with the Sunday SEC new rules.
It's per team, though. Like, we'll get into it, but it's on a per team basis.
Oh, so that's not just across the board SEC.
You can choose to adhere to this supposed curfew or not.
But shouldn't it come down to the home team, though?
You would think.
Were they in Kentucky? Or no, they were in A&M because she was at the series.
I think it should be up to the away team because they're the ones that have to get on the flight.
Oh, I think, okay. But what I would like to say to that is I think that the home and the away team should have a conversation before Sunday's game starts.
Yeah.
Don't enact a rule in the 5th inning when you're up 3. And I'm not saying that that's what happened or anything.
7 runs, I think, at that point.
No,
I
think it was like 8.
I thought it was a little closer. I thought it was about 4.
Was it?
I think it was like 8.
Okay.
It was like a 3 or a 4 run lead.
Oh, I thought it was bigger than that.
It was like one swing of the bat. That's what we were talking about.
We'll look up more
one swing,
but it was
one swing of the bat,
enough.
though. One swing of the bat. If you're within any type of baseball game and it's one swing of the bat, meaning a grand slam, that game should not end early. it should not end early. But we'll talk more about that, and then we'll get the agitational side from Morgan Hilliard at 5:20. But we might talk a little bit about it before then. We will take your calls and text 850-215-6290. Coming up next, we're going to dive into a little bit of trivia and some other headlines from around the sports world. You're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. This is ESPN Northwest Florida.
ESPN Northwest Florida, available on all your devices.
Connected.
Hear your favorite sports talk hosts.
The Coach James Hale Show. You're listening to the Inside Drive live.
The Afternoon Underdog.
And your favorite teams.
Braves winning!
We're live on the app. Tune in, Alexa, ESPNPC.com, Facebook, YouTube, and in your car at 101.9 and 104.3. Wherever you go, there we are. ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good afternoon. This is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with your forecast on this Wednesday. A mixture of mostly sunshine and slight fog the rest of the day with a moderate breeze at 17 miles per hour coming out of the south-southeast, and look for it to be 78. Tonight, there will be slight fog with the temperature reaching 69. Slightly foggy in the morning and then some sun tomorrow with a high of 78. This weather is brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Thank you for keeping that dial at ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Is your car looking dull? Is your home's exterior showing its age? Flight Mobile Detail Technician brings the shine right to you. They offer expert mobile car detailing, from paint correction and ceramic coating to deep seat shampooing. And for your home or business, their soft wash pressure washing system cleans without damage. Convenient, professional, and right at your door. Don't wait. Get that showroom shine and curb appeal back. Call Flight Mobile Detail Technician today. 850-640-5286. 850-640-5286.
Dreaming of your perfect Florida home? Whether you're buying or selling, I'm here to make it easy. I'm Terry Callahan with Anchor Realty Florida, and I've helped many folks from first-time home buyers to retirees find success in the Bay County real estate market. I'd love to find just the right home and neighborhood to match your family's needs. Let's make your dream home on the Florida Panhandle a reality. Call or text me, Terry Callahan, at 850-919-5025.
Hometown Sports Talk from hometown hosts.
People are loving it.
We're live and local. Now back to the Afternoon Underdogs.
Are you kidding me?
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
You know how well I am at learning these songs? This is game day defense, isn't it, James?
It's his.
It is, because you played this, that's on page 2, and you played it one time. I'm like, ooh, I really like the vibe that brings. It just feels like it should be the opener for the Afternoon Underdogs. Maybe we'll change things around a little bit. Jack Patterson chiming in says, how is everyone? Carla Golf says, your friendly baker wants to go to Talladega. Have you ever been to a race before?
No. Well, yes, I have. I take that back. I have. The Coca-Cola 500 in Indy.
Okay. Oh,
yeah. My uncle got us Cummins engine suite tickets.
Those were pretty sweet.
And how was that?
Yeah, it was awesome. I mean, it was like all you could eat fried chicken and beverages, and we were right there at the finish line. And I mean, granted, you're in the suite, so you don't really get to see a lot.
Yeah, but I mean, like when you're at Daytona, that track is so big, and I was on pit road for most of the day, you know. Mm-hmm. You like once they make that turn out of turn 1, you don't see those cars come around for another
track,
2
so you're
minutes
waiting a long time.
Yeah,
no, exactly. But it was cool. It was.
And then I got to pee right next to Joe Gibbs.
Hey, look at you.
I was sitting there in the bathroom. This guy, like,
is that what you were thinking? I'm coming up in the world.
yeah, that's exactly what I'm thinking. In a public,
that's Joe Gibbs. Man, I have got to stand in the urinal next to him.
Yeah, James, do you think he like?
It was
turned
a trough.
To look at
Actually,
him?
even better than it being a urinal, it was a trough.
Oh,
James, do you think he turned to him and didn't realize he was still urinating and was like, "Hey, Joe, I'm just peeing on good James Gibbs."
Hey,
you're shaking the wrong hand, Joe. You're shaking the wrong hand. No. That was like someone that you see on TV all the time, and you're sitting there, and like next thing you know, like, you know,
how great would it have been if you had done that and Joe Gibbs would have said, "Hey, you're turning right, we turn left."
that would have been pretty cool, man. That was a really great experience. NASCAR does it right. As much complaints that they get from some of their fandom, I will say that they cater to their fans so well. I mean, it was like a 72-hour party over there in the infield.
The one thing I will say, and this comes as a local kind of grudge and what it brought to, my home state of Kentucky is,
right.
They bring, Sparta there, the track there in Sparta. They had races there. There were like truck races and stuff, and then they finally bring NASCAR there. And it didn't go so hot, so well. Strategically, I guess you should say.
Yeah, wasn't it like they had a hard time getting all the people in?
Yeah, they had a
lot of people missed a bunch of the race
issues.
because they couldn't get off the interstate.
But you think they would be better at those issues because of the Kentucky Derby?
They smoothed them out, right?
Gotcha.
Then after that, they kind of, I don't even think they race there anymore at Sparta.
No, I don't think they.
So now you have this giant track and all these hotels and everything else that was built around it, and they're just kind of empty.
And so it's not helping out the economy as when they had that track, or at least had the NASCAR contract, what it was able to help out.
So for me, as a not necessarily a NASCAR fan, but as somebody that wants that for the community and the Commonwealth, it kind of irks me whenever I see NASCAR go back to tracks twice in a season.
Yeah.
When they have a perfectly good track sitting over here just waiting to be used.
I think there's certain tracks where you have to get to twice a year. Like Daytona, I totally understand that. When Talladega, they go there twice a year. But it is one of those things, too, where I see that completely, where like you're going there twice, but you could, by just making that singular stop throughout the year, what that does for the economy of the city in which that race is being held,
right,
it's huge.
Because now you're
in the entire Commonwealth, which is not the 51st Commonwealth of Greenland, but,
but you're alienating and ostracizing an entire, state of fans. NASCAR's big in Kentucky.
People love it there.
In Ohio. I mean, Ohio's not too far away. Cincinnati is, 35 minutes from
Sparta? It was
so,
and the less teeth you have, the more that you like left turns.
Yeah, right, I guess.
Agreed.
but it's, for me, it doesn't sit well that they've pulled that, and then you see them going back to, the same tracks over and over again, when I'm like, now, if the drivers had an issue with the track, that would be one thing, right?
Yeah.
Like in like a multiple.
I don't think that the drivers get as much of a say as like the. I don't know, and there should be if there's not, but I don't know if there's like a drivers union like there is the MLBPA, NFLPA, NBA PA, the players associations. I don't know if there is that. They should have that because I those are the people that are the most important, right?
Well, they're the most vulnerable too. Because of
like their thoughts
safety,
on that track is the most important, because if they're sitting there slipping and sliding like Bo Dukes, that's not safe for them, right? And if I'm driving at 190, 200 miles an hour, I would like to know that I feel quite confident going into turn 1s, 2, 3, and 4.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Unless I go to Napa Valley and I'm taking left and right turns when I'm only used to taking left turns. It's like, my OCD is kicking in here. This is a little wild. Our traffic jam and trivia question of the day: who's the only pitcher to throw a perfect game in a World Series?
Yes.
Do you know?
Everybody's looking at me, yes.
Do you know the answer?
I do. I have his autograph.
Ah!
Yeah. My dad's actually got an autograph of, it's the last pitch of the game, and you can see the zeros across the board, and my dad has an autograph of that. I got an autograph ball from him.
Does he have the same last name as a NASCAR driver, just spelled differently?
I don't know, because I'm not quite as familiar with NASCAR.
Okay, well, do me this favor and... Never mind, because if I gave this away...
Yeah, don't give it away. We were 850-215-6290 if you know the answer.
What are we giving away? $25 to that boot store, and we're going to give away $10 to Golf Plus and a 12-pack of Buffalo Rock. All right, before we dive into our 4 questions for Fano, what is another headline that we have that we could dive into? We talked about it. Campbell. Second baseman, Christian Campbell, second baseman, a guy you put me on for fantasy baseball. 8 years, $60 million. How do you feel? Like, hasn't really. It's not.
He's played 6 games.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Right. It's like you don't really prove your worth, and then on top of that, we have another Red Sox player that we need to talk about too, who is
struggling
his
mightily.
favorite letter in the alphabet is K right now.
Yeah.
But Christian Campbell getting the bag, 8 years, $60 million. How do you feel about that?
I love it for the young man. I love it for the Red Sox. I think it's a great deal because, Christian Campbell is, 22 years old. So when he's done with his contract, he's going to be 30. So he's his second contract. If he keeps performing, at 8, that second contract is still going to be massive. So you're not putting these kids in a situation where, they're going to be 32, 33 years old and starting the twilight of their career and trying to get that
Pujols bag.
And trying to get that second contract, right? So it's great for the kids because it gives them that, that backing, from their club. And it's also great for the club because it gives them more flexibility in the long term to do more to put around these young kids. That's why, like I said before in the first segment, I would love for the Reds to be able to try to do this with Ellie and McLean. But, Jackson Chourio signed 8 years, $80 million. He's going to be 28, I think, when that contract is up, maybe starting his 29th year. Great for the Brewers, great for him. He gets a chance to prove himself and not have to worry about, am I going to be able to get the bag in the next 3 to 4 years? Am I going to have to fight arbitration, for 3 straight years before I get my bag? So there's a lot that goes into it, but and a lot of smart, people a lot smarter than I am that deal with it on a daily
I've never met
basis.
anyone
But
outside of James because he's got a PhD or master's. Just
I got a
master's,
master's.
right? Yeah.
I started on a PhD.
Feels like a PhD.
But it's great, I think, for the game of baseball because it gives us an opportunity to see these young stars flourish with one team and be able to grow their careers and their standing within the game, and then not have to worry about, well, are we going to see this guy 3 years from now wearing a different uniform?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And the Braves did a really good job locking up their core of talent. Now let's turn that into at least one win so we don't go 0-162. Jerry, you're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs here on ESPN Northwest Florida. What's going on, my friend? Jerry, are you there?
Jerry, you still with us?
All right. Well, Jerry, give us a call back. 850-215-6290. I need to highlight the answer on the show sheet that we have so that I can see what it is. It's actually printed on the show sheet, but you would never know because I put it in white ink. So.
In white ink, look at you.
Well, not white ink, but...
Do I need like a secret decoder ring?
Like you'll never be able to see it. James is like over there, like put it in the light, like, is there a possibility? No, it's not going to be very possible for you. But I do believe that you know the answer. So let's see here. From Lynn Haven Rob, he says NASCAR is like the PGA. They don't care about the driver or small owners. It's all about the money and sponsors. The sad thing is, the sad truth, especially the longer that I've kind of been on this side of the wall, if you will, it's all about the money and the sponsors, and that's sad. I'm not that type of a person. Like that's just not what gets me going. I'd rather I want to treat people right. That's why AG comes on here. It's not about the knowledge that we have. It's because AG is an awesome human being, and so. I just love to have him on the show, but he also has a ton of sports knowledge, and that's, how you found your way onto the show. Jerry, you're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. What's going on, my friend? So, James, are we up on the master on our phone?
Yeah, we're up to an 8 on the master on the phone. We got
on the master?
Yeah,
the master's going to be the control all the way to the right.
Yeah, it's on a 2.
Oh, 2's a little hot right there. So, okay, all right, well...
we're having technical difficulties. Anybody else knows the answer, please chime in.
Yeah.
850-215-6290.
Jerry, give us a call back if you can hear us.
And if we don't end up, if we're not able to use the phone line, then what we'll do is we'll, take the first text. But until I say that is the ruling, it will need to be a call here. Ohio Brad says... You got to make your squirrel into a gravy and have that with biscuits. Love it.
Biscuits and gravy with squirrel. Gotcha.
Squirrel biscuits and gravy. I've never had that. Would I enjoy it? I love protein.
Give it a shot, right?
We already talked about that, right? I love protein. He also says earlier, Cincinnati doesn't even know what state they're in.
This is true. It's right across the river from Kentucky, so I get it.
Let's try one more again. I hear it this time. Jerry, you're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. Hey.
How are y'all doing?
Oh, my goodness gracious. If I was doing any better right now, they would probably put me in an asylum of some sort. They sounds too happy.
Hey, that's right. Hey, listen, I love your program. I listen quite often. But I know who it is. It's Don Larson, and Don Larson was pitching for the New York Yankees in the World Series against the Dodgers. I was a little shaver, a little guy, and I remember my uncle and I were watching the ball game. I was a Dodger fan, and he was a Yankee fan, and it was a perfect game.
Yeah, I mean, how about that? October 8th, 1956, not to throw you out there,
Did he say little shaver?
Yeah, he did, yeah. I don't think I've ever heard that term before.
Guy.
Is that like a preteen or a teenager? What is a little shaver?
Oh, listen here. I was probably about 9 or 10 years old.
Daggum. How awesome was that? For that particular World Series, as you just mentioned, you and your friend were both fans of opposing sides there, but both teams being from the state of New York, like with the Yankees and the Dodgers, two very prominent names in baseball today as they just played in the World Series last year. But how awesome was that, being that both teams were from the same area?
That's right. And I think it was about the time that Sandy Koufax was throwing too.
Wow.
You remember that name?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. The lefty of all lefties.
The Dodgers. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Who was your favorite player growing up?
Oh my goodness, I don't know. I tell you one I really liked. He was a catcher for the Dodgers, Roy Campanella. Y'all remember
Roy
that name?
Campanella, yeah, definitely
name,
know that name.
Yes. He was a catcher. And, of course, everybody had, like, Jackie Robinson about that time. And
Pee Wee Reese.
Pee Wee Reese played shortstop, and I can't. And Gil Hodges played first base for the Dodgers. Remember that name?
Yeah.
But hey, listen, I watched and listened to baseball. I played, of course, Little League and Junior Major League and all that. But hey, I really loved it. I knew more about we had here in Panama City, we had the Panama City Flyers.
Yeah.
You might not remember that. It was a Class D baseball team, and there was another team in Dothan. There was one in, I think, Pensacola and one in Crestview. And my daddy and I used to go. It was out at Lions Park. It was up on 231 here where the big water tank is, okay? That was where Lions Park was. And, our community probably could support a minor league team.
I would love it, Jerry. I would love it, Jerry.
We love baseball.
We've been pushing for that for years around here, almost like Gulf Coast getting a football team of some sort. But yes, I think we have the space. We have the space. I would love if we were to get a minor league. I don't care if it's single A, double A, triple A. Yes, we have the beautiful park over there in Pensacola for the Blue Wahoos. No doubt about that. But Jerry, you're 100% right. Thanks so much for bringing to the table the history and the passion and with which you speak of. And I believe I've met you before, but if not, I know that I'll meet you when you come to pick up the next prize.
Hey, I met you out there one day, and we talked. And by the way, we have some of the best high school baseball right now. I'm on the school board, and I go to a lot of the ball games and all. But I'm going to tell you something. We have some kids that are going to be in the major leagues one day.
Yes, no doubt.
We've got some great pitchers, and we have some already signed at West Florida and all, but we got some signed with Gulf Coast already, and they are excellent teams, and I really enjoy watching them play. But,
no doubt. Jerry, we have to get to a break. Just stay on the line real quick. James is going to grab the information. I most definitely remember who you are. Once you said school board, I remember the conversation that we had whenever you came in, and we had a great conversation. Thanks so much for listening, and thanks so much for talking up Bay County baseball, because it is it's just great what we have here. Beyond Cooper Moss and Eli Blair, we have a lot of great talent here in the area. You guys are riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. This is ESPN Northwest Florida. Coming up next is hour number 2. We're going to kick it off with 4 questions for Fano.
Take ESPN Northwest Florida with you everywhere you go.
Anytime, anyplace, anywhere.
The sports talk and live play-by-play doesn't have to end when you get out of the car. The ESPN Northwest Florida app streams your favorite sports talk hosts and the biggest games in ultra-high fidelity.
This is of utmost importance in travel.
Take the sports talk monster with you anywhere you go. Available for Android and iPhone.
Use it anywhere or any place.
This is Joanna with your latest forecast on ESPN Northwest Florida this Wednesday. For tonight, some clouds and slight fog, and a low of 70 with a moderate breeze out of the south-southeast at 13 miles per hour. Tomorrow morning, a mixture of some clouds and slight fog with temps around 75. In the afternoon and evening, partly cloudy and a temperature near 78. Moving into Friday, about the same with a high of 79 and partly sunny. This forecast is brought to you by Ellis Agency Insurance. Thank you for listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
With over 65 years of combined experience, Instant Replay Sports Cards is happy to help you take your collection to the next level. They carry all the new hobby boxes, signed memorabilia, and supplies. New and vintage cards and Pokemon. They sell and trade cards and are always looking to buy. They're an authorized source for Topps, Panini, Upper Deck, and Leaf cards. Instant Replay Sports Cards is open 7 days a week at 752 West 23rd Street, down from Academy Sports. It can always be reached at InstantReplaySportsCards.com.
MLB is incoming, and you won't miss a game. Introducing Scorpion TV. Over 5,000 live streaming channels. Catch every game of the season with over 100 sports networks, including ESPN, ESPN+, the NFL Network, and Red Zone. Even pay-per-view events. Watch 400 local network channels from Panama City and most major markets. Fox, ABC, CBS, and NBC. Just $45 a month with our promo code ESPNNW. Go to ESPNPC.com and click the Scorpion TV logo.
WPLQ Port St. Joe, WGSX Lunan. Powered by Panama City Toyota.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Low post Brooms to the hole, dumps it right down to Hart. Miles bounce pass behind the back. Broom 3. Yes! Oh, yes! Yes! Oh, my goodness. This one's over. Remember Auburn. We're going to the Alamo. We're going to San Antonio. This is Andy Burcham, voice of the Tigers. Tune in Saturday at 4:30 for Auburn basketball in the Final Four.
ESPN Northwest Florida, War Eagle.
When the sun sets on the Emerald Coast, the freaks come out and play.
Hi, I'm a recovering crackhead.
Hand me that shotgun.
The Afternoon Underdogs.
Get on your knees!
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Hour number 2 of the Afternoon Underdogs. We are your home for the Atlanta Braves, and yeah, they haven't won yet, but they still play, and they still will play all 162 of their games, and they have the Dodgers tonight. Coverage starting at 6:20 for a 7:38 first pitch. I don't know if we ever looked up who's on the bump.
Elder.
Elder
versus
Snow.
Elder
and Snow. Yeah, that's right. Mm-hmm. Our elder statesman, Bryce, is on the bump for the Braves tonight. Who's he going up against? Oh, that's right. Oh, golly.
Yeah, it gets better and better.
0-7, brother. Here we come. Morgan Hilliard has joined us. It is a beautiful Barbie Wednesday afternoon.
Her customary pink.
Wearing your pink as always, and so that kind of makes me feel like, all right, all is right with this Wednesday, even though we didn't have Banshee at 4:20 this afternoon. So a little sad about that. James Fife, AG. I'm David Hayes. We're the Afternoon Underdogs, and this is ESPN Northwest Florida 104.3 in Panama City, 101.9 in Port St. Joe, and this is 4 questions for Fano. And Morgan has a question for Fano. So what we're going to do, Morgan, is we're going to ask him this first question, and then your question is going to be question number 2.
Okay, let's go.
All right.
Happy to be back, by the way. Hello, everyone listening.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, give your introduction.
Barbie's in the building.
Hey, there you go. And you'll probably have thoughts on this as well. The torpedo bats, which was I'm sure all over the Twitterverse, the burnerverse, but should, in Fano's opinion, and AG, Adam Goff's opinion, should the torpedo bats be legal? Now, according to how the rule is stated, they're legal. But let's talk about this from a purity standpoint from the world of baseball. In your opinion, should they be legal?
Yes, absolutely. 100%. Okay, so the reason being is...
He's leaving the building, everybody.
No, they should, right? Because if you think about it from, they banned the shift last year, right?
Okay, all right.
Did we see averages increase in Major League Baseball? No. Okay.
Yeah.
They didn't go up. We're seeing pitching is getting better and better. Granted, there's more Tommy John surgeries coming with it,
but they get treated like criminals coming off the field every time.
Well,
like,
really do, though.
But you can't stop technology, right? So let me posit a scenario to you.
So,
okay?
and Matt Strom's got a good take on this. Oh, no. You're
let me posit a scenario.
All you want.
To you.
Deposit some money into my bank account while you're at it, if you will.
Deposit, not deposit.
Yeah, I know. I added a couple letters there. So,
so 1997, it's April. Tiger Woods has just absolutely laid waste to the field at Augusta.
I was just born, by the way.
And
I would have been like 2 months old.
I was 16. So he's just laid waste to the field there at Augusta.
All right.
Okay, he's hitting these 3 woods off the deck that are just booming, and he's just taking over the entire course. What if the PGA comes back and says, okay, Tiger, you don't get to hit metal woods. Nobody gets to hit metal woods. We're going back to persimmon. Screw all of this metal wood and all this technology.
I'm with you.
Right?
I use this kind
so
of.
So if baseball says
analogy.
the same thing, that okay, well, let's see, these bats, it's thinner on the top. They've got more of the bubble, if you will, that's around the label, because that's where players are hitting because they're getting jammed when they're getting pitched inside.
Double up.
And it's making the game more fun, which I'm all for. Have at it, right? I think I've said it before in the past on the show. I don't want steroids in the game in terms of actively using them throughout the season. But if a player is injured and they need steroids to get them back on the field faster, I'm all for it. Have at it. It's their bodies. They're willing to do whatever they need to do to get back on the field. So be it. The torpedo bats, if it helps grow the game and brings a light to some of these young stars that we just talked about that are getting these big contracts, then so be it. Now, is everybody using the torpedo bat in baseball? No, absolutely not. Will everyone eventually use the torpedo bat? No, absolutely not. It's an absolute choice that these players are going to make because it fits whatever their swing plane is and what they're trying to do with the baseball. Aaron Judge, do you think he needs to make a change?
No. I mean, that guy is swinging lights out right now.
Right.
I appreciate the perspective there. Morgan, you're raring and ready to go here.
Okay, I'm so happy to be back. Sorry. Also, Sierra, I love you as well. She commented on the Facebook page.
Yeah, she said, Morg, illy.
That's one of my wives.
Yeah,
that's one of my wives.
Yeah.
But anyways.
All right, Pip here strong. Morgan Hilliard's in the building.
My thought on the torpedo bat is, like AG, I am a proprietor of fun. I love fun. I love making things more fun.
Dumb it down for me a little bit here. This isn't a
She's a fan of it.
I'm a huge fan of making everything more fun. But like, man, my only thought is that